Good morning and welcome to our final April session of the ISM Lunch-n-Learn series. Today we're going to be looking at Paperless Office with Miss Erin Oldecker as presenter. So with that, I'm going to turn everything over to Erin. We will open up the phone lines at the end for any questions, and please feel free to use the chat window for anything that may come up. We'll make sure we address that. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Sherry. So this is a Paperless Office webinar. We're going to go through some of the things with Paperless Office setup, a demonstration, and then we'll go through some questions. So Paperless Office is actually a standard feature in all of Sage 100 systems. So it's in version 4.3 and above. This is going to give you the ability to PDF and save on documents and document management throughout your system. So we're going to go over how Sage Paperless Office saves you time, saves you money, and frustration. It's delivered and bundled with the product itself, so there's no extra charge to do things such as faxing, emailing of your documents that you use on a daily basis, etc. Then we'll take a look at a demonstration of Paperless Office across multiple modules. We'll take a look at it within the core modules, such as accounts payable, and we'll also look at it within your distribution modules. So how can Paperless Office save you time, especially when it comes to things that you do on a regular basis, such as sending out statements to your customers, sending out sales order acknowledgments, bills of lading, or sales order invoices that you mail out. So think of all the things that you do every day that comes to paper handling. So with Paperless Office, the savings go beyond just the paper itself. It's also the hardware, the printers, the copiers that you have to keep up to date and maintain, or the postage that you're paying to mail those statements and customer invoices to your customers on an almost daily basis. Think of all the recycling and disposing, even the storage costs. Also, when you're with Sage 100, it's arguably has the best audit trails to reports and journals and registers. But because it has so many different reports and registers, that can add up to a lot of paper, a lot of time that you're spending as well filing that paperwork away. So think of all the ways that you may put it away. You may put it in notebooks, you may put it in the filing cabinets, or even just put it in a box and store it in a locked office. But that takes time and it takes expenses as well to pay the rent on that. So Paperless Office is designed to save you all of that, save you the time it takes to file them away and store that information, as well as the paper savings itself and the space it takes. So Paperless Office is a secure method for generating and archiving your documents, and it does that through what is called a PDF converter, and that is built into Sage 100 so you can create your documents automatically in the background without having to do pretty much anything else besides your regular process of printing your documents. So it will save it to PDF and will make it available to you in a PDF Paperless Office viewer. So alternately, your crystal forms and your documents, such as your invoice forms that are saved or printed as a crystal form, the document can be saved to PDF as well and then electronically delivered by email, or it can even be faxed to your customer. And there's security on several layers built into Paperless Office to make sure that only those users that should be saving or accessing those reports and registers and documents can access those properly and open those up. Paperless Office allows you to email documents that I mentioned, but not just to your customers, but to your vendors. So you can email your purchase orders, your return orders to your vendors when you need to. This is going to save you time. You're not going to have to manually open up your email application such as Outlook, manually attach a PDF or a Word document to the email. With Paperless Office, it's built in, and with your email addresses are stored in the master file within your vendor maintenance and within your customer maintenance. So I will show you how you can store those and access those email addresses, and then when you want to print your documents, you can add on-the-fly email addresses also. So if there is a salesperson or a warehouse person that you want to copy on the email, you can add them to that particular order. The same with job costs, invoices, and payroll direct deposit stuff. You can email those out. Paperless Office reaches just about every module within Sage 100, and it makes it that much more useful. So everyone that is on the line, you know, if you're currently not using Paperless Office, I would highly recommend you start using it. It's built in, it's very easy to set up and start using. They made it even easier in the current version. So Paperless Office is available with public services such as your Google Mail, your Yahoo, and Hotmail. This means you no longer have to maintain your own email server, but you have other options. And then the communication between the client and the server can be encrypted, so it protects your sensitive company information. And then the Microsoft faxing is supported, so you don't have to go out and sign up for a faxing service. It uses the Microsoft faxing engine that is built into Windows. So you can use the fax services driver built into the Microsoft Windows and utilize that for sending out your customers' invoices, your customer statements, etc. So there is no additional charge then for the faxing functionality as well. So Paperless Office always saves the document to PDF. So whether it is a journal and register or whether it's a form you're printing out, you'll always have a PDF that you can go back to. So if your customer calls you up and says, can I get that email resent to me or statement sent to me, you can go into your customer maintenance, you can click on a button and have it resend the email or fax. You also have access within these PDF viewers to all the documents, whether they are internal documents such as your journals and registers. Think of all the pages and pages that's involved with the sales journal and printing that out. All of that can be accessed in a PDF viewer so that different people in your office can see that information. So it can be financial reports as well. So if you have a customized Crystal report or Crystal financial report, you can make that available to your managers, your executives in the office, etc. So you're not having to print it all out and then distribute it manually to the different people in the office. It can all go into the viewer, or the ones you want to have access to it through security and Sage 100 role maintenance. They can see the documents and reports that they need to see. So it makes it a lot easier as far as distributing to reading those reports to the different employees and people in your office. And then for external documents that are sent out, you can optionally print an email. So PDFing automatically happens through the PDF converter. So you have the option to have some customers set up so they have the paper invoice sent out, and then other customers can have their invoice emailed to them. So it works side by side. You can have a mix of some customers being electronic, having electronic delivery, and then other customers can have just the regular paper printed invoice and have that occur depending on the way you set up the system. When the journal and register viewer makes all this available, you can filter, you can sort by company, the module, or the individual document itself. So within Paperless Office, you have this nice journal and register or period end viewer. And if you have multiple companies, it makes it easier when you need to pinpoint which journal or register or report you're looking at. So we'll jump in during the demonstration and take a look at the journal and register viewer. So remember, all the reports, even if it's customized Crystal report, can be available within the viewer. And then there's built-in security through different layers. There's a standard Sage 100 task securities and role maintenance that you can set up. So only certain users can view and access the reports. And then there's security events for deleting reports within the viewer, and then even documents that you send outside of Sage 100. For example, let's say you want to send out your internal accounts receivable person a secure encrypted salesperson commission report. So you certainly don't want that commission report to be opened by anybody. So you can attach a password to the individual PDF document itself. So only with the password can the user open the report. So this is also useful for payroll documents such as the check register. So you can encrypt the Adobe document for opening. And I'll show you a little bit about that in the demonstration as well. You can also attach a document as well to any journal and register and view that in the Paperless Office viewer. So this is going to be very helpful for cutting down the amount of external documents that you receive. So most of you or all of you are going to be receiving in some way, usually through the mail, invoices from your vendors. So a lot of you are going to file those away in filing cabinets with associated source documents, but you can simply scan those invoices in and then simply attach it to an invoice register. So when you're entering in your invoices, you can print your invoice register and then attach the documents, and you can have 100 vendor invoices all in one document. You can use PDF to combine all those invoices into one single document and then attach that day's list of invoices to the invoice register, so it's available with that invoice register. So when you go back to look at the invoice register, you can see all of the invoices that were paid with that batch of invoices. So that can be accessed at any time within the journal and register viewer, and you can be prompted when you actually print the AP register for that PDF. So we'll go out and attach it and grab it, and we'll have some customers that actually use high-speed scanners to scan that information in. So it's like a copy machine. It will copy it, it will scan it and combine it into one single PDF, and then you no longer have to file the paper invoice that you receive from your vendors. So over time, that can take up a lot of room in filing cabinets. It's all about reducing paper, not just the paper that Sage generates, but also from paper that you're receiving from your vendors as well. So all those AP invoices takes up room in notebooks and filing cabinets and boxes. So we want to give you a way or an option to reduce all that clutter and simply streamline everything in electronic format, and then give you easy access at your fingertips so that information anytime you need it. And the Paperless Office here will give you the ability to do that. So next, let's look at the demonstration. I'll show you guys a little bit about setting up your Paperless Office and how to process, how to set up email addresses, etc. So there's a module in Sage called Paperless Office. There's a main, a utilities, and a setup. So we're going to start in the setup section. So under Paperless Office options, there's a screen where you can enable electronic delivery and PDF storage. And you can choose it by the forms, the reports, journals and registers, and period end reports. And then there's also loading the data on initial viewer access. So if you have a ton of PDF documents, you don't want them to all load on the initial view. You want to sort and filter first. You want to uncheck these, but I have them all checked just because we don't have that many Paperless Office documents out in the system right now. You can also keep the last PDF copy. So let's say you do a sales journal and you change something in the sales journal. You originally printed it. It will save it, but then if you make a change to the journal or register, and you save it again, it will overwrite that saved copy if you have this checked off. But if you don't have it checked off, it's going to save all of the different versions. So it will save, the first version of it and then the second version, etc. So that's how you set it up. It's pretty simple. Then you need to go into each of these respective maintenance tasks. So journal and register maintenance. This is where you're going to set up specific company codes, company name, module codes. So what I've done, we typically during setup will do all companies and all modules at the same time. Oops, where'd that go? Here it is. So I did all companies, all documents. It saves it in a specific format, so it's easy to find the documents by the way that they're named in the system. You need to say which PDF directory it's going to be saved in, and that's usually in the Mass90 directory. So I just called it Paperless Office so that it's easy to find. You can do auto-create PDFs. You can either do prompts, so it will ask you each time. You can say yes or you can say no, not to do any auto-create PDF. I'm just going to do yes for now, so it automatically creates it. It's not going to prompt us each time we do our journals and registers. You can also password protect it. We're not going to password protect our journals and registers. We're just going to leave those open, but it may become useful when it goes to the form maintenance or report maintenance. So we'll put a password on one of those. I'll show you what it looks like. We can prompt for associated PDFs. So this is where you're attaching a source document to the register, the journal or the register. And so we made a checkbox here, and we have an associated PDF directory where you can find those files where they're saved at. And so I'll show you kind of how that looks when it pops up. So those are the setup options for journal and register maintenance. Now let's look at period end report maintenance. This looks very similar. It's pretty much almost the same. We have a few less options than we do. I'm going to choose all companies and all modules, and we have the PDF directory, which is the same location that I have the journals and registers going to. It just makes it easier when we're doing upgrades to have it all in one location. Auto create PDFs and then password protect. We're not going to password protect those. So let's look at report maintenance next. So with report maintenance, I have two set up. The first one I have set up is the all documents, all modules, etc. But I did point out, I specifically pointed out the salesperson commission report. So let me show you what that looks like. So I have the salesperson commission report specifically. It's going to point to this PDF directory like the other ones pointed to, but this one I'm actually going to password protect. So by password protecting it, I can choose the password for the user to open, and I'll show you how that looks when we get to running the salesperson commission report. And then we also set up all companies with the same location as well, all companies and all modules. And then we have form maintenance. And we have quite a few forms set up. So we have AP check, we have the PO order, and the SO invoice and SO order. So for the AP check, I actually set a password to it so that you can't open the copy of the checks without this password. Here's where the forms is where you're going to enable electronic delivery. So this is where you mark the checkbox and then you have a from email address too. So I just chose checks@abc.com, and then we have our PDF directory, which is the same as the rest. There's a few additional options here, and this is for AP checks and for payroll direct deposit stubs. So I just clicked no. We're not going to worry about deliver during check register update. And then just look at I have a password also for the SO invoice as well. Take that out. We don't need a password. Nope, it's required. There we go. And so the last thing on the setup is actually called the electronic delivery message maintenance. And so what this is what the emails are going to go out to the customers or the vendors, what it's going to look like. So here we can choose the document type, and I have a bunch already set up here. We're going to take a look at the PO order. So this is what the email that goes out to the vendor or the customer is going to look like, and it has a merge field as well. So there's no HTML in this, it's just standard text, so you're not going to be able to put any kind of graphics or anything in it, but it's pretty nice. You can say, you know, purchase order, and then you can do an insert merge field for the document number, and then you can say, you know, vendor name attached, please find the order number placed on this specific date, you know, questions regarding this order, call our purchasing department or email. This is where you would put your own information here, and then you can say thank you from the purchasing department. And I have this set up for each of the different forms that we're going to send out. So the SO invoice, the SO order, payroll direct deposit stubs, etc. So we have all those set up. So now let's jump in and kind of take a look and see how it looks. Well, first we're going to go into accounts payable, and we're going to do invoice data entry. And we're going to pick, let's see, the Airway property vendor. I have an email address set up for them, so we want to set up the invoice number and then the invoice amount. So we're going to do $1,000 for the invoice amount. And it's just going to go to the standard rent. That's the one that the item code that the vendor specifically uses. So we can either do, we could do a quick print, or we can go into invoice printing from the task menu. So I'm going to just do a quick print. And what we want to do is we want to post for 5/31/2020. And then what we're going to do is press print. Now you don't want to press preview. If you press preview, it's going to populate a preview of the PDF, but it's not actually going to save a PDF out. So you want to press print. You want to make sure that there's a printer assigned to it as well. You can always use deferred if you don't have a printer assigned to it, but you want to make sure that there's a printer or use deferred setting. So here we can press print. Oops. Go back into that. And here's where it pops up where it says what the PDF directory is. So if I have a specific, let's say I have an invoice that's associated with this that I got from my vendor, I can come in here and find that invoice. It's in my PDF documents. Find that invoice and I can easily attach it. So here's where I would attach that invoice. And then you just click OK. It attaches it to the invoice register. And here we go. Here is the PDF that it created. This is the invoice register for AP. And this is saved out into the journal and register viewer. And then here, do we want to update the invoice register? Yes. And then it's also going to save for the daily transaction register. And we don't have anything to attach, so I'm just going to click OK for that. And here is our daily transaction register that's saved out to PDF as well. So now let's go take a look at that. So let's go into Paperless Office main, and we're going to go to the Journal and Register viewer. And here's a list of all the journals and registers that we have created. So let's see. So we have the AP invoice register that we just did is this one. No, it's this one right here. So I'm going to open this. And it shows us the invoice register, but I also have that attachment. So here it tells me if there's an associated PDF associated with it. And to open that up, you can click on Open Associated PDF here. And it's going to open that invoice that I attached. So you can look at this side by side. You can look at the invoice register side by side with the invoice that you've attached to it. And this is where the location of the PDF was saved to and if it was updated, etc. Gives you the user login as well, so you know who the user was that updated that transaction. So now let's cut a check. I did set up a password for the check, so we'll see what that looks like. So we're going to go into invoice payment selection. And let's set the date for So let's see, here's my $1,000 check that we have created. So we're going to click on Proceed, and then we're going to close out of this, and then go to Check Printing and Electronic Payment. And so now here is where the check printing is. So what you have the ability to do here is under Paperless Office Output, you can change it to print in PDF all or just PDF all. So if you want to print the check and you want to save a PDF of it, you want to choose the print PDF all, but I'm just going to save a PDF of the document by choosing the PDF all. And then you just press print, and it will go out. It will save the PDF of the check. It's going to ask me for a password here. So here's where I enter the password. I just did a standard Sage for it, and then it tells me what the last check was. Last check number. Do we want to check the print register? Yes, we do. And we don't have an associated document to attach to it, so we'll leave that blank. And then here's the check register that we just did for $1,000. And here's the daily transaction register as well. So that's saved out. And we want to update. And there we go. So let's go back into the journal. And actually, we're going to go to the vendor viewer. And this is where we can see the check that was, so it was for Airway Property. That was the name of the vendor. And the PDF exists. So we're going to take a look. And here's the check. So this is the check that printed out. And we just had the stub check. There's the format for that, and that's just the standard way that it prints out on the form. Okay, so now let's take a look at purchase orders, and we're going to email out a purchase order to one of our vendors. So we can actually go into purchase order entry and choose a purchase order, or we can create one. So I'm going to quickly create one. Next order number, and I have an email address set up for Airway Property, so we'll use them. And then we'll go to the Lines tab. And we can do either quick print or we can do invoice printing or purchase order printing. I'm just going to do quick print real quick. And it's asking me what I want to print it as, so we're going to do plain. And here again, Paperless Office Output. This is where we have the choice. So we can choose electronic deliver only. We can choose to print and PDF for print delivery options. So if you have a batch of of POs that you're printing, and you want to print some of them, but you want to PDF some of them as well, you have it set up in the master vendor file where it says, you know, specifically PDF this document into this email address for this specific vendor. And then some vendors may be set up just for printing, so they don't want to electronically deliver, they just want it printed. So we're just going to choose PDF all, because we only have one set up here, and it's set up to print or to email out. So we're going to click on the print button. And here it's going to tell us, it's going to go out, it's going to email, it's going to tell us if it was successful or not. It takes a couple minutes, or not a couple minutes, a couple seconds to do. Oh, did I just do all of them? I think I did. I didn't choose that specific one, did I? Let's go back into that. I just did the PDF of it. I didn't click on electronic delivery, which is what we wanted to do. So we'll go out and find that purchase order that we just created. Here we go. And we're going to choose to electronic deliver only. So this will email it out. It's connecting to the server. Let's see if we can print a different one. Purchase order number. And it's going out, it's emailing to the email address that's on file. I got an error probably because I didn't have it set up correctly. So it tells you here number of attempts and number of successful attempts. So mine didn't actually send out just because I don't have it set up correctly. This is usually a password error. There we go. Let's get rid of that. Now let's go into, same thing, we'll do a sales order. We'll do a sales order entry, and then we'll do a sales order invoice. So it's a similar process, the way that it's sent out. So actually, let me show you the place in the system where you set up the email addresses and set it up. So under vendor maintenance or under customer maintenance, we're going to go to vendor maintenance first and take a look at that email address for this specific vendor, the first vendor we have. Here we have the email address. So you can enter an email address here, and this is what's going to email out for Paperless Office. Then you want to click this Paperless button right here, and it takes you to this screen where it tells you what you want to do. So PDF delivery options. So you can choose to print, to email, to fax. We're going to pick a specific, so we're going to check the PO orders, and we're telling it to email out you can have print checked off as well as email, and it will always print and email, or you can just have it set for emailing. And then if you go to the email tab, this is where you tell it which vendor email address to use. I chose the one on the main tab, or you can choose a contact code. So if you have multiple contacts set up, you can choose, you know, which contact code to use. So we'll check it there. And that's the same with customer maintenance as well as vendor maintenance. Now let's go back down. Let's go to sales order entry. Customer PO number. And let's see what we purchased. We purchased this drawers. There we go. Accept, and then we'll do quick print. And again, under Paperless Office Output, you can choose electronic deliver only. You can choose PDF and print. Both of those work as well, and electronic delivery. It will do all three as well. So it's probably not going to work again because my settings are set up incorrectly. And let me show you actually where those SMTP settings are located so that when you do set up your Paperless Office, you can set up the email portion of it as well. Same error that we got before. Okay, so if you go into Library Master Main and then Company Maintenance, under Company Maintenance, there is a tab called Email. Let's see, where is it popping up? There it is. So we'll pick the company code, and then we'll go to the Email tab, and this is where you enter in the Outlook information or your SMTP information. So I have Outlook for Office 365 set up. And here is the SMTP encryption. You choose a username. I would choose like a admin username with a password and a domain setup as well. So this is where you set up the SMTP information from company maintenance. And this is per company code. So you have it different for each company code. So I showed you the checks with the password. Let's go back into Paperless Office. We looked at the vendor viewer. We looked at the check already. So let's go back. Let's go to the customer viewer. And see if we have. So here's that sales order that we entered in with those two items on the sales order. So let's now go into the commissions report that I showed you where we set up a password on as well. So if we go into AR reports, and I'll show you the way we set up how we can send it to Paperless Office. So when you go to a report, all you have to do is come down here when you're choosing a printer. Rather than choosing a printer, you're actually going to just click on Paperless Office and then print, and it's going to print it to PDF. And here you can actually email it out as well, or you can fax it if you want to fax or email out the report. We're just going to store it as a PDF. So we're going to hit Proceed. And now let's go into Report Viewer, and we'll find that commission report. This is the one we just did, so we'll double click on that. And here it's asking for a password. So here's where it says password, where we need to type in a password to access it, and now we can see our commission report. So when it emails out, or if you send it out to someone or email it out to someone, they're going to have to enter in that password before they're able to open up the file. So that's pretty much Paperless Office and all the different features that are involved with being able to attach source documents, setting up a password for it, emailing out, etc., and setting up those email templates as well. Does anybody have any questions? Let's see if there's any in the chat. I don't see any in the chat messages.
Quick question.
There are none in the chat messages? Oops, sorry, and I did just open up the phone line, so feel free to speak out. Thank you.
Hey, Aaron, this is Jason at TriLink. A quick question.
Hi.
So the email would come from like one of our email addresses in our domain. Can it be customized to where like sales orders are emailed from like a sales at TriLink, and AR invoices are sent from like accounting at TriLink, and POs are sent from purchasing at TriLink?
Yes.
I'm just trying to make sure that I'm.
So on each of these, you set up each of the different forms. So let's say the PO order form. This is where you set up the from email address. So each form
Okay.
is going to have their own from email address on it.
Okay, but in the configuration settings, it looked like you were using one central email with the server. Is
Oh,
it
that was
just like
just to log into the system. That's not what the email is going to be.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's
so
going to
the
be like an
email that it's
admin
coming-
login to...
Exactly. Just to access the SMTP connection.
Okay.
So do you need to enter the password for that email, that it's the from email?
Not the from email. You don't need to enter. Just automatically send it out. And it's not going to send it out through Outlook. It sends it out through SMTP directly. So you're not going to be able to access like this in your from outbox or whatever. You're not going to be able to see the emails in an outbox for it.
So the vendor, let's say, gets it, but they're doing a confirmation email. It will respond back to whoever it is that we list under this from email.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, that's incorrect. When we transferred.
As far as best practices, is it best practice that the file structure for saving these PDF copies be on the same server as your Sages?
Yes, correct. Usually it's in the Mac90 directory, so it's easier to find, and especially during upgrades, it's easier to bring over. But I've also seen people save the paperless Office files outside of the Mac90 directory. So you just need to remember to bring those over when you do upgrades.
I don't have a formula that does that. Because most of those formulas I found, I have to have equal amount of columns. So.
And with the paperless Office here, is there the ability to do like a routine? Say, have a routine that says send a statement of account, email a statement account to any customer who has something, an invoice aged more than say 10 days.
So.
That's actually not possible to do. It's not set up to do that quite yet, but you can go onto the Sages website and recommend that setting. That's a good idea to have included.
But you can obviously, you know, in customer inquiry, go right there and probably, you know, in AR and probably with a couple mouse clicks, just send a statement of account.
Yes. So you can go into, if you send out a statement, if you've already sent out a statement, let's see if we have a statement that's been sent out under Paperless Office. I don't have any statements that I've sent. But you can easily just go into statement printing.
Yeah.
And then it's the same thing. So you're going to go to this print down here. You're going to say, oops, where is it? Customer number, category only. Message, statement printing. Why doesn't it say Paperless Office? Usually it says Paperless Office in here, and we can choose it, and we'll send it out to the customers.
Okay. Last one on the sales orders. So, you know, great use of this obviously is to send a sales order as a order acknowledgement or confirmation of the customer's PO.
Yeah.
Of course, like many companies, we have customers that are very large customers. Is there a way to, you know, maybe programmatically or through drop-down or anything, designate which customer's email that's going to go to? Because you can imagine some of our large customers, we might interface with, you know, around a dozen different buyers depending on which site, which location, which division, that kind of stuff.
And that's specific, you have a specific person that you want to send it out to for each
Correct.
invoice? The way that
Not-
you would do that is you would
like the
have to
sales.
send it up
Work in progress, basically, all we're doing.
under Paperless Office options, and you can choose the contact from here. So it's always going to go to the specific contact. You can't
Okay,
choose it.
so basically, as we maintain the contact email addresses for all of those different people, then we just select which contact code each time, or?
So you
or
have
could
to select
just
it one time.
manually put in additional email addresses there?
You can, if you resend the invoice or resend the sales order, you can choose an email address. You can't choose it when you're doing when you're sending out the whole batch. It's going to go to the specific customer code that was set up under the Paperless Office. But if you go back and resend it, you have the ability to add in on-the-fly email addresses.
That's why there's a sort key on the bottom.
Okay.
Because 3-digit numbers I sort, and then 4 and 5 digits I group together and sort those together. So that the 4 digits are intermixed with 5 digits. It's like 1, 2, 3.
Any further questions?
4, and then together. Otherwise, there's no way you can sort them all at once.
No.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone, for joining us. Keep an eye out for next month's ISM Lunch-n-Learn schedule. Also, a reminder that Sage Summit is going on next month in Atlanta, Georgia. The ISM team will be there, and we would love to see you there. If you have any questions on that, please reach out to me at AM for account manager, am@goism.com. Aaron, I want to thank you very, very much for your presentation today, and everyone, thank you as always for your time. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.